March Madness is upon us, and couple that with the NBA season is going on, actually going to the playoffs. A better way to bet on those games and games in other sports like the Premier League and everything else, or even Major League Soccer, than betus.com, where you can get 125% of the sign-up bonus, which is up to $2,500 by using the promo code TKT for the clown times. So what are these other perks here? You can bet on the go. You can bet anytime, anywhere on your mobile device. You get fast pass, or you get paid immediately every single time. And last but not least, you can you could do live betting where you can bet during the game, getting the early and the best lines. Again, use my promo code TKT for the clown times to get up to 125% of the sign-up bonus, which is up to $2,500. So again, not to sound like a broken record, but go to betus.com where the game begins. What's up, y'all? I just wanted to share a little bit what I heard in the world of HBCU athletics as it pertains to college football. Tennessee State's head coach, saw us the other day, Eddie George, was at a press conference, and basically he did not give too many flattering words about the Ohio Valley Conference, where Tennessee State currently resides. And basically he addressed the situation and questioned the stability, long-term stability going forward in the Ohio Valley Conference. So this is what the brother said, quote, "We're going to a different time and age. For us now, obviously, with Tennessee State, we are seeking to go to a conference that has more stability. The OVC is a dying conference at this point in time, but we can continue to stay hopeful that OVC leadership will pick and continue to add teams. But at some point, we're going to have to take into account our future and do what's best for Tennessee State." End of quote. Now, this was actually on the One Star Recruits podcast earlier this week, so my bad there. But that quote right there got me to thinking about a couple of things. One, what if Eddie George was looking at what was going on, like a few states below them in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, same conference that happens to have the unicorn himself, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders at Jackson State doing the damn thing, as well as the guy like Hugh Jackson joining Grambling and is making inroads in recruiting, along with Florida A&M and I think Prairie View A&M as well. So, and also like to see the attendance, like I know Eddie George expressed disappointment and lack of attendance at home games last season. He was doing his first year. So he's also has to be looking at the recruiting, the actual attendance at a lot of these SWAC schools. Now, the SWAC as a whole leads the football championship subdivision, the FCS, in attendance. And it's not even close if you look at the numbers. And that was before Deion arrived. So since Deion arrived, it's skyrocketed, essentially. And the improvements that some of those schools have been making the football facilities. So he has to be looking at that as like, hey, what if we were to slide in the SWAC's DMs and just ask, or maybe beg for an invitation? That would do wonders at our school. So which leads me to the second thing that might happen, because this may become a trickle-down effect, a domino effect, actually, in the world of FCS as it pertains to HBCUs. Now, ponder this for a minute. What if this leads to the SWAC becoming a super conference? We've seen the Southeastern Conference, its neighbors, its big brother neighbors, if you will. I know a lot of SWAC fans are gonna be mad when I call it SEC the big brother, but let's be real. The SEC is called the beast for a reason, all right? So let's just end that. But what if the SWAC took a page from the SEC, its neighbors from the SEC, and form a super conference? So ponder this for a minute. In addition to Tennessee State, what if the SWAC got super aggressive, super duper aggressive, and took Tuskegee from the SIAC, right? Because Tuskegee, again, this is all about brands now. This is all about brands. Tuskegee is a big brand in HBCUs, in HBCU life and culture. What if they took Tuskegee from the SIAC and, in addition to Tennessee State, and, hold on, you asked about this, what if the SWAC invaded the MEAC to steal North Carolina Central and South Carolina State? So now what you have is, you not only spread your tentacles in the Carolinas if you're the SWAC, with the likes of Central and South Carolina State, but you've improved your football profile exponentially. Because remember, South Carolina State beat the brakes off of Jackson State and the Celebration Bowl. So imagine having those squads in the same conference. And by the way, Buddy Pugh, head coach at South Carolina State, shout out to him, that brother can coach. So imagine that. So imagine that his coaching acumen and his recruiting, because you know that his recruiters are going to get a huge uptick if they're to join the SWAC. Let's just be real about that. But the only thing, speaking of the Celebration Bowl, the only thing is that move, if the SWAC were to get that greedy, it probably would kill the MEAC. Now the MEAC could be creative, invite some PWIs. I mean, it's been talked about before, but just imagine them like maybe inviting, that's on the tip of my tongue. I was thinking about this school, maybe re-inviting Winston State. I know Winston State tried to join the conference years ago, but they didn't have the money to keep up with the Joneses at the time, but invite that squad back, maybe somehow entice my beloved North Carolina A&T and Hampton to come to the sisters to come back home, right? It's just there's just some of the possibilities. But you know, either way, if there's money on the table, if from the Celebration Bowl, I'm sure ESPN would help the MEAC figure that out. But just again, you gotta imagine that the SWAC becoming the super conference would be the coolest thing ever. And by the way, I just finished a rant on my sports blog called The Clown Times, right here, www.theclowntimes.net, about this very same thing earlier. So if you want to get a more fleshed out version of what I said in this rant, feel free to do that. Feel free to check it out as well. So until then, though, be good, take care, peace and hair grease.